Okay. Hello. Welcome to Maine Family Child Care Credential, a conversation. My name is Lori Moses, and I'm the coordinator of apprenticeship and credential programs at Maine Roads to Quality. I'm joined here by Tammy Dwyer, who's one of our district coordinators for York County. So to get us started today, I'm going to turn it over to Tammy, who is the primary researcher and author of this new credential. So Tammy, I'm going to ask you right from the beginning, why did you pursue this new credential, and why did you think a family child care credential was important?
Well, thank you, Lori, for having me and for allowing me to talk about this because I'm very passionate about family child care. And the reason why I'm so passionate is because I was a family child care provider for 22 years. I did family child care in my home in Auburn. I was an accredited provider, and I was looking for training that was relevant to my experience and to help me improve my practice within my program. When I learned something new in a training, I used it directly with my care and my children, with my families, and I incorporated it with my staff by modeling it into my program and practice. With the accreditation through the National Association for Family Child Care, I have to have a certain number of required training each year, just like licensing requires you to have, but it was a little bit above licensing. And I wanted any training that I did to equate to something, not just required training. I wanted to earn something from the training that I took. But yet, as a single mom with young children, I wasn't ready to jump into a degree or into coursework and commit to that level of commitment. So I just went looking for different opportunities to learn and grow. I started first with a CDA credential, and although that was a very good experience and I learned a lot, I would still sometimes struggle in my program and in my days providing care to children with managing my business. It left me looking for more. I took opportunities to explore other credentials offered here through Maine Roads to Quality Professional Development Network, but in all honesty, some days I still struggled as a family child care provider. This kept me looking for more training and professional development that would help me support my work with the mixed ages, and my role as a direct care professional, but also as administrator for managing and growing and sustaining my business over the years. The Maine Family Child Care Credential looks at this and provides training and professional development opportunities to grow in all of these areas. So thank you again, Lori, for letting me talk to you about why I chose to research the credential and create the opportunity.
And I'm so glad that you did, Tammy. It's family child care is such an important part of our early childhood system, our early care and education system in Maine, particularly as a rural state. And it is distinct. It is different. There are different facets to it that are make it a unique setting. And so it deserves its own credential. So thank you so much for sharing your history. So I'm going to share our screen now, and we're going to look at Maine Roads to Quality Professional Development's website and how to get to the Family Child Care Credential information packet. So I am going to share my screen if all goes well. And I think I did it. So here we are at the Maine Roads to Quality's website. So you click on Maine Credentials. And so I'm going to start here with the home, because we have a new video we would like to show you. And it was developed by providers who've been through the credential process. The timing of it was before the Family Child Care Credential. It was just being launched, so there weren't any Family Child Care Credential recipient at the time. But there's still some really great information. So here we go. So I'm going to share that.
Are you interested in learning how to advance your career in early childhood education or out of school time? Maine offers several credential options to help you tailor your training, coursework, and professional experience. Hear directly from recipients of Maine credentials.
So I moved up to an assistant director role since getting my credential. I also went on to get my inclusion credential. I feel like I have a lot more confidence and a lot more skills. I have more to offer the families and the teachers that I work with.
After gaining insight into Maine credentials, you're likely curious about their benefits. With a Maine credential, you will have the opportunity to advance on the career lattice, enhance your skills when working with children, families, staff, or adults in child-related roles, increase your income, and elevate your program's status on Rising Stars for Me.
Since getting the inclusion credential, I now have graduated with my bachelor's and master's. And I look back on that, thank you. And I look back on the inclusion credential and I realize I would still do it again, even if I had those college degrees. Because of the in-depth, I think of the course, the Universal Design, or Foundations for Universal Design, whatever exactly it's called. And there were pieces about how I could, modify and for one student and benefits all the students. And I mean, that's a simplification, but even though, yes, I got some of those pieces in my college courses, not to the depth that I did in this particular training.
The Maine credentials offer an accessible and affordable career pathway grounded in MRTQ's core knowledge training and hands-on experience. Applicants collaborate with MRTQ PDN staff within credential cohorts, where they receive support and guidance to demonstrate how they can apply their learning in their professional practice.
Saying to myself, I need to be an expert. Because every time working with kids, I see how kids love me, how I love kids. So I was like, so let me do much better. So let me go a little bit high, then I can see how I can talk with parents. And like now, I'm so confident when I talk with parents. I'm so like, oh, this is what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. So I'm just happy to earn that credential.
And so I think that the credential has really pushed me and my experiences as an educator to look outside the box and recognize that what worked last month might not be what works this month, and reevaluate and reassess where we're at constantly.
Are you curious to explore Maine credentials further? Discover all the details on the Maine Roads to Quality Professional Development Network website at www.mrtq.org.
So that was our video that we produced directly with practitioners. So that was very exciting. And I hope it gave you some insights directly from the field. So now we're going to scroll down to the Family Child Care Credential. And you scroll down even further, and it talks about what's the Family Child Care Credential, but we're going right to the Family Child Care Credential information packet. So I'm going to double click on that, and it brings up, hopefully soon, there we go, the Family Child Care Credential packet. And so I am going to scroll down here. Wait a minute. Here am I scrolling down? And oops, I went too far. Go back up. We're going to start with, and I'm going to turn it over to Tammy. If I can scroll back up, here we go. The table of contents. Sorry, we're going back and forth. Okay, table of contents.
Thank you, Lori. That was a beautiful video. I just loved watching the practitioners share their experience. I want to make note of the table of contents and the number of pages that are in the packet. There are 85 pages in this Maine Family Child Care Credential packet. And so with that said, there is a ton of information that Lori and I are going to share with you, but it will just be an overview of the credential today. The packet will be your best friend to learn more information and learn more about the possibilities with this pathway. Also, with that said, Lori and I are both here to support anyone interested in learning any more about the Maine Family Child Care Credential or going towards the credential if they so choose.
As
Do you
we're
have any-
scrolling down, I just wanted to mention that the credential information packet is being updated at this time, so it will look a little bit different. And we're looking at an online application. So it's currently being worked. So there's a couple tweaks in here that might be different than the packet, which should be done soon. So I'm going to turn it back to Tammy, who will go over the credential process.
So the first thing I want to talk to you about is that the competencies are the heart of this credential. This is where providers will see their program and their practice being laid out within the packet. They'll be able to recognize themselves through the different competencies in the work that they do with children and families. So here are the 8 different competencies. A is child development and learning in context. B, family provider partnerships and community connections. C, child observation, documentation, and assessment. D, developmentally, culturally, and in linguistically appropriate teaching practices. E, knowledge, application, and integration of content of curriculum. F is professionalism, G is health, safety, and nutrition, and H is administration and business practice. Can't tell I'm nervous, right?
Oops, I just moved away. Okay.
All
Sorry.
right. No worries.
Okay.
We're both nervous. Okay, it's just when you hit the recording button, something happens.
Yeah.
All right. To meet the formal education experience and training requirements, you must have a GED, high school diploma, or HiSET. And then as far as the experience, it's 480 hours within 5 years, in the past 5 years. And training requirements, we'll talk a little bit later on. B is you have to be a member of the Maine Roads to Quality Registry. You have to submit a completed application and a payment of $25. The application, it will soon be online. You must submit a portfolio that demonstrates the required competencies specific to working with ages of the ages that you work with and development of children that are enrolled in your program. You must participate in the Maine Family Child Care on-site observation, and you must distribute, collect, and submit the Maine Family Child Care surveys.
Okay, and one of the things that we require, you can see on D of the evaluation, is that you have to have a return rate of at least 75%, and 80% need to be positive. We have a link electronically in the packet. You'll see the paper version, but you can do it electronically, and parents seem to like that easier. They can do it at their own time. And I know when they're coming back, if they're even a little bit lower than the 75%, I can remind you to remind parents and let the applicant know that they're a little bit lower. And that brings the point back to what Tammy said in the beginning, is that we're here to help you. We don't want to, there's no gotchas. We're here. We want you to succeed. So if it takes a little bit extra support, that's absolutely fine. We really honor that. And again, we're your biggest cheerleaders. We want you to succeed. So we're going to go to the competency areas in the portfolio next. And it really is the heart of the credential process, because what you're doing with the competencies through your portfolio is you're demonstrating that you know these competencies and you're applying them in your program. So you've had the training and now you get to demonstrate that you understand the training. Just want to stop on the way. I just really, there's 4 different dates to apply for the credential. We're changing it. Instead of the 1st, it's going to be the 15th of these 4 months because we're getting more and more people applying and we need more time to review. The other thing, when we see if we can go to the training, it says here and that it's the training that's required within 5 years of the date of application. We've changed it to 10 years because it just was a random number and we felt that the training was still relevant for many of the people who've taken them more than 5 years, and it seemed that it was a barrier for people to apply. They didn't want to take the training again if they took it 6 years ago, so, or something like that. So we changed it. So that's the change. But Tammy, do you want to talk about the training?
I absolutely do. Thank you for pausing here, Lori. And I also want to talk about, like, who is this family child care credential for, right? This is for any family child care provider, whether you're just getting started or someone that's been in the field for years. There's different pathways for different people in their experience and their training and their development. So really take a peek at the packet, 85 pages. When you have questions, let us know. What we're looking at now is the pathway for providers that do not have a previous credential or coursework in a college. So these are the required trainings you would take getting started in family child care. That's an on-demand training and it's free. Foundations of Health, Wellness, and Safety, Partners in Caring, Families and Caregivers, Environments and Early Care and Education is another training. Strengthening Business Practice, your professional development portfolio. And then you have a choice, depending on the ages and stages that you'd care for, about which developmental learning standards would be the best fit for your program. So you can take the infant and toddler Maine early learning development standards, or the Maine early learning development standards, which are now being revised, or the links to learning. So it really depends. If you've taken one of these before, maybe you consider taking a different one that would still support your work. Did you have anything else that you wanted to add about the training, Lori? We did talk about 10 years.
Yeah, we did talk about the 10 years. So I guess I added that in early, but it is within 10 years of the application of your credential packet, of your credential application. So I am now going to scroll down.
And while Lori's scrolling, I just want to say that 10 years is a lot of time thinking about, like, for family child care with licensing regulations. Currently, it's 12 hours a year that you need. Even if you took one training a year in the pathway of the credential, you might, it might take you 5 years to get all the trainings done, but it would still equate after the portfolio and the observation and the other requirements are met. Oh,
So
thank you, Lori.
Sure. And so here, Tammy, do you want to go over this is part of the portfolio. This is the first competency area with the first activity for your portfolio. So I'll have Tammy go over. And again, some of the things that we're changing, we're adding a column, how to guide to competency. So we're adding a column to this, and we're also changing, there's just the language we're learning. Instead of indicator of best practice, we're changing it to indicator of quality practice. So there's some tweaks that are happening, things that you might not even know looking from one portfolio, one credential information packet to the next. But we're getting better all the time, and we're learning. So I'm going to let Tammy describe what the portfolio and the evidence looks like.
Okay, thank you, Lori. So the best place to always check for information would be the website. That's where you can find the most updated packets for the credentials. So under each area is a competency area, and there are 8. We talked about that. This is the first competency area under child growth and development. And the next column is the indicator of quality practice, which will be changed soon. And that's where you can see where what your knowledge is or the practice within your program for what we're looking for to provide evidence for. And the next one is actually how you will show evidence about what you're doing. And that's what will be put into the portfolio. So we understand that different people learn in different ways. So I hope that you will see that we are very open to how you submit your evidence. You don't have to write everything. You can videotape, you can audio tape. We'll figure it out as we go. And like Lori said, we're all learning in this process. This is a very new credential. So when you have questions, it's very meaningful to us that you reach out so that we can learn along with you.
And having reviewed several portfolios now, and having that under my belt, I think the best advice to give to a potential applicant is we want to hear your stories. You know what works in your program. You know how it works, and it looks different. And one of the things I learned actually from the Family Child Care Accreditation process that has stuck with me throughout the years is there are many right ways. And that's something, no 2 portfolios look the same because your program looks different. But this is the opportunity for you to shine, for you to show that you know what these competencies mean and what it looks like in your program. So, you know, sometimes you'll have to share an artifact that, you know, like a sample policy or a handbook or something like that. But we want to hear more. We want to hear, and how does this work in your program? Or what's the feedback in your program? So it really is a time for you to shine. And as I said, there are many, many right ways to do this.
And with that said, there are always opportunities to improve. So we really like to see that reflective process and hear from you about what it is that you envision for your program. That's, you know, it's not about what we want. It's about what you want for your program and the children that you serve. So that's what we want to hear your voice. Again, I want to highlight there are 85 pages, tons of information, but there's support. Lori mentioned the cohorts. The cohorts run for 6 months. People can enter a cohort once they have completed all the necessary training for the credential. In the cohort, they're in with other peers that are going through the same credential as you and building evidence for the same portfolio that you have to submit for the credential. I just wanted to highlight that. And in addition, I want to highlight that at the end of the packet, there's an appendix that has a ton of resources that will support your work in creating evidence or gathering evidence from the program that you're already doing. It also shows you examples of observation tools that we'll use, the family survey that we'll use, which is the same accreditation survey. So if you have plans to have different pathways for your program, just know that that is the same survey for accreditation. Anything else that you would like to add, Lori?
I think going back to the level of support, because we want everybody to succeed. So what I'm thinking is that if the credential review team finds that whatever the evidence isn't quite enough, they may decide to include that item at the observation time. They may ask you that during observation time. But if they really feel that, you know, you didn't quite get there, it's not over yet. We give you the opportunity. You can do revisions, and we'll be very specific with what the revisions are. And you have 30 days to revise. And typically it's 1 or 2 items. It's not the whole portfolio, but it's just, we really want to make sure that you have shown evidence that you understand a particular criterion. So you have 30 days. And even then, if the credential review team finds it's still not quite showing. There may be some gaps that you can have individualized support where someone will work with you to make sure that you meet the criteria for that particular item on the in the portfolio. So again, there's always support through the credential cohort, through consultation, and through individualized support. I'm going to stop sharing now. I think that, is there
And
anything
Lori,
else?
yeah, I just wanted to add that individualized support could be offered at any time. It doesn't just have to be when they have submitted their portfolio. If they have questions prior to, credential participants have even begun to send in their credential portfolio prior to even submitting, to getting different feedback. So that's also an option if people want to do that.
And that happens also in the credential cohort, because sometimes if there's not more than 3 people who are ready because they've either completed all their training or are enrolled in their final training, that's the requirement for the credential cohort. You can work individually with someone, with one of our district coordinators or leads in the different credentials, which are pretty much the same people. They're district coordinators. But you can work individually. If there is a credential cohort, the benefit of that is that you're working with your peers who are going through the same thing. So they may have an idea that gives you an absolute aha. You might not have understood what we were looking for. And then with the support of the facilitators and your peers, you go, oh, that's what they're looking for? Of course I do that. And so again, that's the benefit of having a credential cohort. So that's, but it is optional. That's the one part of this process that is optional. And sometimes people are successful doing it on their own and sometimes they're not. But we are here to support. And even, like I said, even if something doesn't quite meet it, we will work with you to get to that point. So I am going to stop sharing. And just a couple final points, and then I'll see if Tammy has anything to add. Once you get your credential, you are recommended for an award of the credential. It's good for 3 years. And in 3 years, you need to document at least 45 hours of training that's relevant to the competencies. And then after you get your first award, you need to, then it's every 5 years. So again, you don't have to go through the portfolio again, just showing that you're keeping up with training that's relevant to the credential. The other thing that is not always available, but sometimes available, is quality improvement awards. So especially if you've gone through a cohort, or if there isn't a cohort and you've done it either with individualized support consultation or on your own, and there's no cohort, we have quality improvement awards. And typically they're $500 plus the cost of the training. And so, and then you'd have to fill out a vendor form with the University of Maine and a W-9, and then we will issue that quality improvement award. And again, it's always a matter of funding. So right now, when we're recording this, they're available, and we hope that they will continue because they have provided an incentive. So one of the things that we like to do at Main Roads is we want to celebrate the awards of credentials. So we've done it in different ways, but often it's we've had a credential award luncheon, we have had dinners, but we want to celebrate you. We will ask your permission to list it in our shortcuts, which most of you know is our weekly newsletter. And we won't post your achievement without your permission, but we also like to celebrate it. So we hope that you join us in that celebration. So Tammy, any final thoughts?
I just want to thank everyone for staying tuned and listening to us. And I hope that you reach out to learn more if you have interest in the Maine Family Child Care Credential. I'd be happy to support.
All right. Thank you.
So we do have a guest speaker planned, and she was the first one who achieved the Maine Family Child Care Credential. Morgan Lambert already earned a Maine Infant Toddler Credential, and she took the initiative on her own to pursue the Maine Family Child Care Credential. We would like Morgan to share her journey in her own words, why she chose to pursue the credential and what that experience means to her.
Excellent. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Hi everyone, thank you for taking the time to listen to this. My name is Morgan Lambert. I run a family child care in Saco and have been open a little over 4 years now. I earned the Maine Family Child Care Credential in May of 2003. I was the first in the state of Maine to receive this credential, and this is my second credential through Maine Roads to Quality. When I first heard about this new credential through Shortcuts, I was really excited about the opportunity. I strive to deliver high quality programming and care to children and families in my child care program. This credential gave me a list of courses to complete, and I felt they were all relevant to the everyday practices in my program. While working through the portfolio, the prompts and requirements pushed me to dig deeper into my program's policies, philosophies, and everyday practices to really expand upon the different areas of learning that my program offers. During the observation, I felt very comfortable and supported in the different areas being observed. As a bonus, I was given great feedback and ideas on how to incorporate other items into the different areas. For example, having pretend food from different cultures in our kitchen area would help support the diversity component of the credential. I was truly honored to receive this credential and thank all of the Maine Roads to Quality staff who helped support this journey for me by offering the courses, portfolio reviews, feedback, and observation. Thank you for your time today. Good luck on your journey.